Hi guys, Tassie Grammar here. Today I'm coming to you from my newsroom, otherwise known as my lounge room here in Hobart. Now I'd like to discuss with you 5 reasons why I personally choose to use NiSi Filters. Before I get into that though, you may notice that my Project RAWcast co-host Kieran Stone is notably absent. Now he's too scared to appear on video. He keeps telling me that I also have a face for a podcast. That's fine. Either way, I think this video is going to work out far better if he can't edit out anything controversial I may say. Now, I'd also like to disclose that I do have a commercial connection with NiSi Filters. I am a brand ambassador for NiSi. NiSi also sponsor Project RAWcast. But prior to that commercial connection, I used NiSi Filters for a very long time. I've also used just about every major filter brand on the market, from Lee to Format High Tech, to Hoya, to B&W, to Hader, and quite embarrassingly, even Koken way back in the day. So from personal experience, I'm going to give you my 5 reasons why I personally believe NiSi Filters are the best filter brand on the market. Coming in at number 1 is definitely image quality. NiSi Filters for me have produced the best image quality out of any neutral density filter I have ever used. Now, by comparison, I'll give an example here. When you're shooting with Lee filters, of which I'm currently using in this shot as a coffee cup coaster, my 6 and 10 stop filters make fantastic coffee cup coasters. Lee filters produce a very cold image, so you need to warm your image up in post-processing to color correct your image. I also find that brands like Koken and also Hader produce a slightly brown color cast on images, which for me is very, very hard to correct in post-processing. You need to shoot as best you can to begin with, and shooting with a good neutral density filter that isn't going to introduce too much of a color cast into your image is going to give you the best result possible. I also find that the optics on NiSi are just phenomenal. I've never really had any bad experiences with ghosting, flaring, any vignetting, particularly on the square filters. Round filters are slightly different, just basically through their build. They do produce vignetting no matter what brand of filter you're using on the market. But if you're using the square filter system like this, I tend to find that the image quality is just phenomenal. Another thing that I really do like about it is the ability to use the circular polarizer behind the neutral density filters and still have full control over the polarization via the little knobs that are on the thing. So I'll talk more about build quality a bit later, but ultimately, look, as a photographer, image quality is the most important thing, and for me, image quality is exactly what NiSi Filters deliver the best out of any neutral density filter brand I have ever used. So number 2 for me is definitely the build quality of NiSi Filters. From the filters themselves through to the holder, I personally believe that out of any of the filter brands that I've used, they are the best quality on the market. Now I'm going to compare these to, say, a Lee filter holder, which I've had for years. As I said, I've used Lee in the past, where the filter holder itself is actually stretched over time because it's made of plastic and allowed the filters to fall through. Now I believe you can tighten them. I've tightened these over and over and over again and still had the issues. Now, one of the main reasons I actually sought out a new filter brand in the first place was the issues that I was having with the Lee filters. Now, back to my coffee cup coaster, you can see it's chipped. I've had multiple neutral density filters from Lee crack in my bag. Now, again, I'm not the most careful person in the world, but I certainly wasn't doing anything that I think warranted having glass shatter through my bag. Since switching, I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever with NiSi Filters, not even the tiniest scratch or dint on it. Now, just as an example, on the Great Ocean Road over the last couple of weeks where I was, my camera fell over on the tripod and landed directly on the filter holder. Now, the filter itself didn't get damaged, didn't get scratched. Now, I've also got another example of one of the other NiSi ambassadors who was on a trip with us, who literally dropped his filter holder and filter over the side of a cliff. It tumbled down 5 meters, maybe even more, landed safely, no glass shattered. So for me, in my experience, NiSi Filters are without a doubt the best build of any of the filter brands I have ever used. So reason number 3 for me is definitely the product range within the NiSi lineup. From the round filters with just about every thread size you can find, through to the 70mm, 100mm, 150mm and 180mm square filter systems, there is a system to suit just about every lens and camera combination on the market. Now there's soft grads, hard grads, medium grads, the new Horizon grads, the neutral density filters available in 3, 6, 10, 15 and 20 stop, through to the more specialty filters such as the natural night filter, which for me is fantastic for shooting cityscapes as well as shooting astrophotography in situations where there is light pollution on the horizon. Now the drone filters I also find for the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro are fantastic. The build quality on these little things is incredible. They come in multiple variations, packs of 6, from the CPL all the way through to an ND32 filter, which should suit just about every situation for either shooting videos or even attempting to shoot long exposures from drones. Now NiSi also listen to the community as well. They're a very nimble company in terms of producing new products. Now, as I said, I am a brand ambassador, so I do have an insight into new products coming out. Now, I'm pretty excited by some of the new things that are happening within NiSi, so stay tuned for even more products within their lineup to suit just about any style and any situation of landscape photography you can think of. Number 4 for me is customer support and service. Out of any major photography brand that I've ever worked with, NiSi Filters, particularly here in Australia and New Zealand, have the best level of customer service out of any of those brands. To know that you're dealing directly with photographers themselves who understand the industry is something that just gives you peace of mind in dealing with a brand who is heavily invested into the community. Now, if you do have an issue with NiSi products, I can just about guarantee that the distributors themselves are going to deal with it extremely quickly. You can contact them via phone, via email, and they will respond very quickly. NiSi products have a very low rate of return as well. But in my experience, when customer service is required, it is there. They are there to look after the photography community and they're there to look after their customers. So reason number 5 for me is the community that NiSi have built up around their brand. Just about every other weekend, whether it be an Instameet or a workshop or another mainstream photography event, NiSi Filters are there. They build a solid following off the back of their support for the community and the events that they host. Brand ambassadors throughout Australia and New Zealand are also very active in the community, in hosting events, in running workshops, running bigger community events, which quite often result in a couple of hundred people turning up for them. This is something that I personally believe that no other photography brand in the marketplace, particularly here in Australia and New Zealand, has achieved. And for me, this is another big part of why NiSi are definitely the leading brand within the neutral density filter market, but also within the photography industry as a whole. So there's my 5 reasons why I personally believe that NiSi Filters are the best neutral density filter brand on the market, if not one of the best photography brands in the industry. Now, their products are incredible, their customer service is second to none, and their support for the community as a whole is simply amazing. Now stay tuned for more video content very soon from myself and hopefully Kieran Stone. Until then, tune into the Project RAWcast podcast at projectrawcast.com or subscribe via iTunes, listen in on your favourite podcast app and leave us a review if you like what you're hearing. I'll speak to you soon.